Let me talk to you for a second. See, everybody out here want to tell a woman how to live, what to give, how much of herself she's supposed to lay on the table. They say honesty is everything. They say transparency is love. They say the more you share, the stronger the bond. But let me flip that for you. The truth is, too much exposure is how you get played. Too much openness is how you get controlled. And too much giving is how you lose the very power that makes you priceless. A woman's strength ain't in how much she reveals, it's in how much she protects. It's in what she chooses to hold back, what she chooses to keep sacred, what she refuses to let anybody use against her. Because in this world, people don't always value what you give. Some take it for granted, some twist it, some use it for their own benefit. That's why real wisdom says there are things you never let a man fully see, not because you don't love, not because you don't trust, but because your worth demands boundaries. And those boundaries, that's where your respect begins. When people say never show your full hand, they're really talking about the power of mystery, the value of keeping something for yourself, and the discipline of not letting the world see everything you're working with. Life is a lot like a card game, and everybody at the table is trying to win. If you put all your cards face up, you just gave away your whole strategy, your whole defense, your whole hustle. A woman, especially, lives in a world where people constantly trying to read her, test her, and sometimes use what they know against her. That's why showing your full hand ain't just careless, it's dangerous. When you keep certain things close, you control the narrative. You dictate what people know and what they don't, and that right there is leverage. See, men are hunters by nature. They're curious, they're strategic, and sometimes they're selfish. When a woman lays everything out, she removes the chase. And once the chase is gone, so is the respect. You can be the most beautiful, intelligent, loyal woman on earth, but if you put every single part of yourself on the table too early, you stripped away the mystery that kept him invested. Mystery is energy. It's the spark that makes someone lean in and pay attention. Without it, you're predictable, and predictable gets overlooked. But it goes deeper than romance. Think about business. Think about survival. Think about the way people move in the world. If you're sitting in a meeting and you give away your whole business plan, what's to stop the person across from you from running with it before you get a chance to build it? If you share every dream with someone who hasn't proven themselves yet, you basically handed them the map to your kingdom without even knowing if they're loyal enough to walk with you. A woman who knows her worth understands that everything she got, her mind, her emotions, her ambitions, isn't supposed to be exposed all at once. It's supposed to be layered, revealed in pieces, earned over time. It's the same way a magician works. The trick only works when the audience can't see the whole setup. Once you reveal all the secrets, the magic disappears. A woman is powerful because she's a mystery, because she knows how to show just enough to keep a man interested, but never enough to make herself vulnerable to manipulation. Vulnerability is valuable, but it has to be given to the right person at the right time in the right way. Otherwise, it turns into a weakness that someone else can use. Never showing your full hand also protects your peace. The less people know, the less they can judge, the less they can interfere, and the less they can try to pull you off your path. When you hold certain parts of yourself back, you're keeping a safe space within yourself that belongs to nobody but you. That's sacred. That's what keeps you balanced when everything else around you gets chaotic. People will always think they know you, but if they only know the pieces you allow them to see, then you always remain one step ahead. A lot of women make the mistake of thinking openness equals love, or that honesty means sharing everything. But the truth is, love isn't about exposure, it's about trust, and trust takes time. You don't hand somebody the keys to your safe just because they say the right words. You let them prove themselves. You let their actions line up with their talk. And only then do you start letting them see more of your card. Until then, you keep that deck close to your chest, shuffle it when you need to, and play smart. Because once your full hand is out there, you can't take it back. The smartest women know that silence can be louder than words, that what you don't say, what you don't reveal sometimes speaks more powerfully than what you put out in the open. Every man doesn't deserve access to your struggles, your plans, or your deepest thoughts. Some of them ain't ready for it, some of them can't handle it, and some of them don't even value it. That's why you don't waste your full hand on anybody who hasn't earned it. And once you learn that discipline, you move different. You carry yourself with a confidence that says, I know more than I'm letting on, and that energy commands respect without you having even asked for it. Pain is one of the most human things you can carry, but it's also one of the easiest things for people to use against you. When a woman shows all her pain, she's exposing the softest part of her armor, and not everybody is built to handle that with care. Some men see pain as an opening, like a crack in the wall where they can slip in and manipulate, or worse, dominate. That's why hiding your pain isn't about lying to yourself. It's about protecting yourself from the kind of energy that will exploit your vulnerability instead of healing it. People might tell you that transparency builds intimacy, and in the right space with the right person, it does. But until you know that person's heart, your pain should be kept guarded, because once it's out, it can't be taken back. A woman's pain is powerful. It's history, it's story. It's the weight of battles fought in silence. But if you put it all on the table too fast, it turns into currency that can be traded, mocked, or twisted. Some men don't see a woman's pain as something sacred. They see it as something to control. They learn where your scars are, and instead of avoiding them, they press down harder just to see how much you'll break. They test those weak spots because they know it's easier to control someone who is broken than someone who is whole. That's why pain is something you must manage with caution. You don't erase it, you don't deny it, but you don't let just anybody have access to it. It's like war strategy. No general in their right mind is going to tell the enemy where their army is weakest. You protect those positions, you fortify them, and you only share the truth with the ones who've proven they'll stand beside you in the fight. A woman's heart is the same. If a man hasn't proven that he will honor your hurt and not use it as leverage, then he doesn't deserve to know the full depth of what you carry. Because the reality is, not everyone who listens cares. Not everyone who comforts heals, and not everyone who asks about your pain is doing it out of love. Some are just gathering information. And hiding your pain doesn't mean pretending you don't feel it. It means being selective about where and with whom you express it. There's strength in being able to smile when your soul is aching. Not because you want to live fake, but because you understand that not every crowd deserves to see you bleed. Some people don't know how to respond to blood. They panic, they gossip, they run, or worse, they feed off. And when you realize that, you stop trying to make everyone your healer. You start learning how to sit with your own pain, process it, and let it mold you into something stronger instead of scattering it across people who might not value it. Pain can also shift the balance of power in a relationship. If a man knows too much about what hurt you in the past, he can start to position himself as your savior. Even if he's not truly there for you, he can use your history to gaslight you, to remind you of your wounds whenever he wants to shut you down. And that's dangerous, because once somebody has that control, they don't have to love you enough to keep you depending on them. That's why you keep your pain hidden until loyalty, consistency, and respect have proven themselves. When you finally do share, it should feel like liberation, not exposure. Hiding your pain also teaches resilience. It forces you to find strength inside yourself instead of constantly looking outward for someone to fix you. When you learn how to carry pain quietly, you become sharper, wiser, more in tune with your own growth. People will look at you and think you've never been through anything, not knowing you fought battles they couldn't survive. That's power. That's the kind of energy that commands attention without words. Because pain, when hidden and mastered, turns into presence. It turns into that aura that makes people respect you, even if they don't know why. And the truth is, men respect mystery. If you tell a man all your pain, he might sympathize at first, but over time, he starts to see you through the lens of that pain. He no longer sees the warrior in you. He sees the wounded girl, and that changes the dynamic. But if you keep your pain tucked in a place that only reveals itself when the time is right, then you control how you're perceived. You show the strength first, you let the scars be known later, and when they are finally revealed, they carry weight instead of pity moves or everything. The way you move determines how you rise, how you protect yourself, and how you stay ahead in a world that's always watching. When people say hide your moves, they're really talking about keeping your strategy sacred. The second somebody knows your next step, they got the power to block it, copy it, or twist it. A woman especially has to understand that not everyone clapping for her is really rooting for her. Some men will smile in her face while studying her every decision, waiting for the perfect moment to throw her off course. If your moves are visible, you just gave them the blueprint. That's why discretion is survival. Life is like chess, not checkers. In checkers, you move fast, obvious, straight, up and down. Anybody watching can see what you're about to do. But in chess, the power comes from the moves nobody saw coming, the ones you set up 5 turns ago while your opponent thought you were doing something else. A woman who moves like chess never reveals her whole strategy. She can smile, she can talk, she can even let people think they know what she's doing, but her real plans are kept quiet until they're already complete. The silence is what protects her. Because once the move is made, it can't be stopped, but if the move is exposed too early, it can be destroyed before it even starts. There's also a psychology to hiding your moves. When people don't know what you up to, they stay curious. They respect you differently. They wonder, they speculate, they assume you got something bigger coming. Even if you're just laying low and building in peace, that mystery gives you leverage. And leverage matters because people can't attack what they can't see. If a man doesn't know what you're working on, he can't sabotage it. He can't drain your energy with doubt, and he can't slow you down with fake advice dressed up as wisdom. That's a trap a lot of women fall into. They announce their every move thinking support will come, but what they really get is interference. Even in relationships, hiding your moves keeps balance. A man doesn't need to know every detail of what you're planning or how you're growing until it's time for him to witness the results. If he's truly with you, he'll celebrate the outcome instead of demanding access to the process. But if he's not with you, then giving him visibility into your steps just gives him ammo to use against you. He might plant seeds of doubt, make you question yourself, or try to redirect you so you never finish what you started. That's why the best energy is quiet progress. Let him see the glow when it's done, not the grind while it's building. And hiding your moves doesn't mean being secretive in a toxic way. It means being strategic about your privacy. It means understanding that some things grow better in silence, without outside opinions, without outside energy. Every time you speak on a move before it's ready, you invite voices into it, and those voices can dilute your vision. A strong woman knows when to talk and when to move in silence. She knows that keeping her steps to herself is not about distrust, it's about discipline. Think about how hustlers operate. The loudest ones, the ones flashing everything, talking about every flip they about to make, they're usually the first ones to get hit, the first ones to fall. But the quiet ones, the ones who move low-key, they build empires before anybody even knew they were stacking. That principle applies everywhere, in business, in love, and personal growth. If you let a man know every detail of your hustle, he either gonna copy it, compete with it, or kill it. But if you keep it to yourself, he can only respect the result when it shows. There's also a lesson in energy. When you speak on the move, you release energy into the world. Sometimes that energy gets wasted in the talking instead of being invested in the doing. You'll see it all the time. Somebody announces they about to start a business, they get applause, and that applause feels like an achievement, but then they never actually follow through. That's why silence is powerful. When you don't talk, you don't leak energy. All of it goes into the action, and the action always speaks louder than the announcement. Moves hidden or moves protected, and protection is priceless. Because in a world where envy is real, where competition is everywhere, and where love sometimes masks control, the only way to stay ahead is to make sure your next step is known by you alone until it's too late for anybody to interfere. That's how queens operate. That's how dynasties are built. That's how respect is earned. Money mindset is one of the most powerful and most dangerous things to reveal, because once somebody knows how you think about money, they can shape how they treat you, how they approach you, and sometimes how they try to use you. A woman's relationship with money says a lot about her independence, her vision, her strength, and her discipline. If a man knows exactly how you move with money, how you save, how you invest, how you spend, he can use that to either ride on your wave or slow you down. That's why keeping your money mindset hidden isn't about greed, it's about protection. It's about making sure your financial game is your own, untouched by hands that don't deserve to guide it. The reality is money attracts energy, good energy, bad energy, envy, control. It all comes when people know too much about what you're working with. If a man sees that you're disciplined, stacking every dollar, staying low key while you build, he might either respect it or resent it. If he sees you're generous and always willing to help, he might either honor it or exploit it. You don't really know which way it will go until time shows you. That's why your money mindset has to stay private until loyalty is proven, because once somebody knows your financial habits, they'll start moving around you differently. They might start asking, expecting, or assuming things that shift the balance of the relationship. Money mindset is bigger than numbers. It's about how you value yourself. A woman who knows her worth financially carries herself differently. She doesn't chase men for stability. She doesn't beg for security. She builds it within herself. That kind of independence can intimidate the wrong man. He'll either try to humble you by downplaying what you do, or he'll try to control you by making you doubt your own system. That's why the mindset has to be hidden. A man should see your confidence, not your calculations. He should see the results, not the blueprint. Because once the blueprint is out there, it can be copied, judged, or manipulated. Even in love, money mindset is a delicate thing. A lot of relationships fall apart, not because of love, but because of finances. If you let a man into your head about how you handle money before he's showing you consistency and integrity, you're giving him too much power. He'll start questioning your decisions, giving you advice that might sound supportive, but actually keeps you dependent on him. Or worse, he'll start leaning on your discipline, expecting you to carry both loads because you're the one with sense. And once that cycle begins, it's hard to break because money is tied to emotions and emotions cloud judgment. Having your money mindset doesn't mean hiding your success. It means not showing every move you make with your finances. If you're stacking, stack quietly. If you're investing, invest privately. If you're saving for something bigger, let that be your secret until it manifests. Because once people see how intentional you are with your money, they'll either want in or they'll want to pull from it. It's why the strongest women don't brag about what they got. They let the results speak when it's time. They don't argue about being independent. They just move like it. There's also the energy of silence when it comes to money. Talking about your financial plans too much can drain the discipline from them. Words release energy. And sometimes announcing your moves gives you a false sense of accomplishment, making you less hungry to actually follow through. But when your money mindset is hidden, you're the only one holding yourself accountable, and that accountability makes your discipline sharper. You're not building for applause. You're building for freedom, and freedom is the ultimate goal. A man who truly respects you doesn't need to know how every dollar in your life moves. He needs to respect that you have your own system and your own vision. If he can't handle that, if he feels threatened by it, then that tells you everything you need to know. A woman who keeps her money mindset private protects not just her bank account, but her peace, her dreams, and her long-term security. Because at the end of the day, money is bigger than paper. It's energy, it's choices, it's freedom. And freedom isn't something you hand over lightly. Intentions are everything. They're the seed behind every move, the root behind every word, the truth behind every action. When a woman exposes her intentions too soon, she gives away the secret power that keeps her in control. Men and people in general listen to intentions more than they listen to words. If a man knows what you really want, he can shape himself to fit that desire, even if it's not who he truly is. That's the danger. Because now, instead of showing you his authentic self, he's showing you a performance designed to get what you've already said you're looking for. That's why hiding your true intentions at first isn't about being fake. It's about being smart. It's about allowing time to reveal whether his actions line up with what you need without giving him the cheat sheet. Think about how often people adjust themselves once they know what the other person is after. If you tell a man straight up you're looking for commitment, he might act like he's committed just to get close, even if deep down he's not built for that. If you tell him your dream is to build a business, he might start talking like a partner, even if he has no vision of his own. If you say you want marriage, he might play the role until you realize years later that he never had any true intention of going that far. But if you keep your intentions hidden at first, you get to watch him unfold naturally. You see who he is without the script, without the mask, without the rehearsed lines. That's how you separate the genuine from the pretenders. Hiding your intentions also keeps you from being manipulated, because once somebody knows exactly what you want, they can use it against you. If they know you want love, they can dangle affection like bait. If they know you want stability, they can flash money to distract you. If they know you want loyalty, they can act faithful on the surface while doing the opposite behind closed doors. Your intentions are like a map. If you hand it over too early, you're giving them direction straight to your heart. And not everybody deserves that access. Some people only want to reach the treasure, not protect it. And it's not just about romance. It's about life in general. In business, if you tell everybody your intentions, you expose your strategy. Competitors can copy you, undercut you, or beat you to the finish line. In friendships, if you reveal too much about what you're trying to achieve, jealousy creeps in. And suddenly the same people you trusted become the ones blocking your way. But if you keep your intentions to yourself, you move freely. Nobody can stop what they can't see, and nobody can sabotage what they don't understand. There's wisdom in letting your actions speak before your intentions do, because actions can't lie the way words can. A man might say anything to align with what you told him you want, but his consistent actions will always tell the truth. That's why silence is such a powerful filter. If you don't reveal what you're looking for, he has no choice but to reveal who he is. And once you see who he is, then you decide whether or not he deserves to know your heart's intentions. That way the truth flows both ways. His truth first, your truth later. Hiding your intentions also creates balance. When you enter any relationship or connection, you should never come in with your entire deck laid out. You should come in observing, learning, testing energy, watching how someone moves, because people show their real character in time, not in conversation. And when you've been quiet about your intentions, you can walk away easier. If the energy isn't right, you're not locked in by promises or expectations you created too soon. You kept it light, you kept it safe, you kept it in your control. There's also an element of power in delayed revelation. When you finally do share your intentions, they carry more weight. They mean something because you didn't give them away lightly. A man will respect it more when he realizes you don't just hand over your dreams and desires to anybody. That scarcity creates value, and value demands respect. When you move like that, you teach people that your heart, your goals, and your vision are not up for cheap access. They're earned, not assumed. Here's the deeper layer. Hiding your intentions doesn't mean you don't have them. It just means you protect them. You water them in silence. You let them grow in private. You only bring them into the light when the soil around you is fertile enough to sustain them. Because intentions are fragile in the early stages. They're like seedlings. If you expose them too soon, they can be trampled. But if you keep them hidden, nurture them, and let them grow roots first, by the time you reveal them, they're strong enough to withstand anything. Mystery is one of the most underrated forms of power. In a world where everybody's oversharing, posting every move, broadcasting every thought, the one who stays silent stands out. When people can't fully figure you out, they have no choice but to respect you differently. A woman who moves with mystery carries an aura that makes people pay attention. They lean in when she speaks. They watch how she carries herself. They wonder about the parts of her they can't access. That curiosity builds value, and value naturally leads to respect. Because respect isn't always about what people know. Sometimes it's about what they don't know. Mystery creates space for imagination, and imagination is powerful. When a man can't fully read a woman, he fills in the blanks with what he hopes is true. That keeps him engaged, keeps him chasing, keeps him working to earn more of her truth. The moment everything is laid out on the table, the chase is over, and with it a certain level of respect fades. It's not that men don't value honesty, they do. But the reality is people respect what they have to work for. If everything is handed out too freely, it loses weight. But if you stay layered, if you let your story unfold piece by piece, you turn your life into a book that people can't put down. Mystery also sets boundaries without you having to announce them. When you don't let people know every detail of who you are, what you've been through, or what you're planning, you silently teach them that you are not easily accessible. That distance commands respect. It tells people you belong to yourself first, that your soul isn't up for cheap access, and that your energy is sacred. In a world where people constantly try to claim pieces of others, being mysterious is like having a shield. It keeps your essence protected. It makes others approach you with caution, not carelessness. There's also survival in mystery, because when people don't know everything about you, they can't predict you, they can't box you in, and they can't control you. Once people think they got you figured out, they start treating you like a pattern instead of a person. But if you keep them guessing, they never settle into comfort. They never assume they've conquered your spirit. And that uncertainty forces them to respect your presence, because the unknown is always intimidating. The unknown holds weight. Mystery doesn't mean being distant or cold. It means being intentional about what you reveal. You can still be warm, still be open, still be engaging, but the deeper parts of you, the parts that define your essence, stay tucked until somebody earns the right to see them. And when that happens, the respect deepens even more, because they know